Hey everyone, it's Mojaxx back in the DJcity UK lab. Denon DJ have today announced new beta firmware and software for their Prime Series kit, and there is a lot to look at. Let's get to it. Denon DJ seem to be firing on all cylinders lately, with updates to their Prime Series coming thick and fast. 1.6 brings the usual bug fixes, but also has some notable new features. As I work for Beatsource, of course, the headline for me is the addition of Beatsource Link to the streaming services available in the hardware, following Beatport Link a few weeks ago, and I'll show you that shortly. What I won't show you today is that the Prime 4 now has track preview, as seen on other hardware in the line. We'll check that one out another time. A big change within the software is that the beat grids are now flexible, which means a track can have multiple BPM values over the course of its length. You drop a marker and then you can freely adjust the BPM from that point onwards. This is a feature which has long been requested, and I'm very pleased to see it being implemented here. The final new feature is Dropbox integration. Now, as you'll see, it's at an early stage right now, but it's enough for us to get a flavour of how it works. You head into the preferences and enable Dropbox there. It automatically syncs up with the Dropbox account running on your computer. After that, your Dropbox is treated much the same as a regular external drive. You can drop tracks, crates or playlists to it, and even use the sync manager, just like you would with a USB drive or an SD card. One annoyance for me, which comes from how Engine Prime displays files generally, is that once tracks are synced to Dropbox, you're going to see two of them in your library. However, switching Dropbox off again in the preferences will stop that, and there's no problem with enabling and disabling that feature over and over. It won't break anything. So with that done, let's head to the lab and fire up an SC6000. So yeah, we're firing it up now. I'm in the lab. Let's have a look. We've got the warning there. This version is in beta. Do not use in a live scenario. That's advice that I would certainly agree with. Now, I have a USB stick attached because you do need something to download the metadata, etc. to when you're doing all this streaming stuff. So I've got that there. Let's just load the user profile up. Now we'll go into the different options. As you can see, I've got Beatport on and Beatsource on. Let's turn it on. And we'll come back to the Dropbox in a minute, but I'll just show you Beatsource. So we now have this drop-down menu, so I can go between Beatport Link, and I've logged in already. All you do, because it's Wi-Fi enabled, you just literally put in your username and your password and you're good to go. So we have the curated playlists here for Beatport. Fetches the track info, downloads it, and it does download the whole track. So it's cached, so if you were to lose connection midway through playing a track, it wouldn't go wrong. You can also start mixing straight away. The BPM doesn't update until it's actually analysed, but as you can see by the waveform stretching, it does actually change BPM. So you can literally load a track and start mixing it straight away by ear. So let's pause on that one and let's go into Beatsource. So this is the new one, works in the same way. And I'm going to my crates there. Let's go into my playlists. There's DJcity Records. And again, downloading, it's there. And when you add a cue point or anything like that, it will actually save that metadata to your attached USB stick or SD card, whatever you're using. So you do have that, and it will also then, it will load faster next time you play that track. So even though we don't have the offline locker yet inside the Prime series, it is coming. You do have the metadata and everything else being saved, so it does save you time. If you've played a track on the player, it will have that metadata in future. So yeah, Beatport and Beatsource all working nice and smoothly. Obviously still in beta, so do give us any feedback if it's giving you any problems, but it should be okay. And then let's go into this Dropbox. So I sent those tracks into my Dropbox using Engine Prime back at home. So let's log in. We have to log in and do the authorization. So let's get that up on my phone. Okay, so I've got that on my phone there. Just log into it. Continue, yeah, I want it to use my Dropbox. And then you put in the code as found there. So JEMQW. Pair now. And it should say, yep, Dropbox library is ready to use. So it's basically imported all the metadata from that library there from Dropbox. So again, that's now in the drop-down menu. Dropbox, there's my playlist. And there's my tracks. So let's load up. And it performs in the same way. So it downloads the track, caches it all. So if you lose connection, you're not going to have a problem. Cue points and everything else will be coming across. One thing that they haven't got implemented is data going back the other way, so it won't go from the players or the controller, you know, the all-in-one back up to Dropbox at this time to synchronize back. But as you can see, very simple to use. And so you've got access to all of them at the same time. And that's really what is so cool about this, is you've got local files, Dropbox, Beatsource, and Beatport all there ready to use in the one player or the one set of players or the Prime 4, Prime 2, whatever it is. The whole lot just ready to go as and when you need to use them. So there you go, a first look at the new beta firmware and software from Denon DJ for their Prime Series kit. This one, very exciting. Firstly, because of course Beatsource link is in there. I work for Beatsource, you know, so I'm happy to see that in there. I know the technology works because I've been using Beatport link with it for a while. So yeah, just very happy that's made its way into the Prime Series. But this Dropbox stuff as well, this really feels like a step towards the future of DJing in a big way. The idea that you can rock up in the future and just log into a device. You've got the streaming services with your own personal playlists, curated playlists, etc. And you've got your own personal cloud for those tracks that just don't exist anywhere outside of your own collection. You know, dub plates, edits, remixes that you've done, that kind of stuff. If you're a working DJ with any experience, you've got a few things like that in your library, which you wouldn't be happy to forego for the sake of an entirely streaming future. So the idea that you've got everything there in the cloud, accessible from these players, yeah, that's pretty exciting stuff. And I must say as well, I'm very happy that they've now got the variable beat grids. That's something that's been requested for a long time. So yeah, overall, a pretty major update. Now, the usual caveats apply. This is a public beta. If you're using your devices for something mission critical, don't be installing this right now. Just wait for the final version to come out. But if you're stuck at home, for example, you've got a bit more time on your hands, you want to get to know these new features, by all means, get onto the Denon DJ forum, download the beta and give it a try for yourself. Thank you for watching today. Make sure you subscribe for all our future tips, tricks and product reviews. I'll see you soon.